George was my mentor. I had known George for over 45 years. We traveled together. We spent time together. George was a giver. He wasn't a joiner. We couldn't ask him to join the professional photographers. He had no interest because George had no time. George worked 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. George didn't know what Christmas was or Easter. He was always working. George has some 232 pieces of his photography preserved here at this gallery, thanks to Mayor McCallion for her work. It is a real honor to have that. Photography in the last 20 years have gone through the roof in value. There was just a photograph sold by Australian photographer Peter Leake for well over $1 million. And Ansel Adams or Joseph Karsh sells within $20,000 to $25,000 if you can get one. So it certainly has made a mark in the arts of photographic arts. George had the gift of making you feel important. He had the gift of always praising you and your work. He always admired my work, although I'm not sure whether he had any reason to. All of you carried his picture in his wallet for many years. The national currency in Canada had 6 of George's photographs on the back of them. I have them here. If somebody needs to see them, I brought a whole collection. The Canadian Mint used them, and it made me very proud. George was the first photographer that crossed our beautiful country in his own RV that he had converted into a not just living quarters, but a color lab, so that he could photograph and the same night look at the images and make sure that he had what he wanted. George was also the first guy to fly his own airplane. He had his own airplane, and when you do aerial photographs, you usually take the door off. And George took the door off one day, and he flew the plane, he photographed until he hit a pocket of air, and George fell out of the cockpit. Now, he didn't believe in harness because that would restrict him in his movements. So he fell out, caught himself on the wing, climbed back in, and carried on. These are stories that he only told you after we had a bottle of wine or two. He would kind of loosen up and bring these off because George was by no means a show-off.